Let's get tactical about how to run an efficient diet phase. We're going to get strategic in this. We need to set our starting calories. To do that, I'd highly recommend going into MacroPath. And MacroPath will do everything I'm about to say here for you, but some people really like to do it themselves. They like to get hands-on. So I'm here for it. Let's do this. You can Google online TDEE calculator. That's Total Daily Energy Expenditure Calculator. You're going to put in your information and it will spit out a number. That TDEE is the number of calories that you need to sustain where you're at right now. In a general sense, those are your maintenance level calories. What you're going to do then is subtract about 15 to 20%. That next caloric number is your first diet phase calorie number. Next, you're going to break those up into macros. We're going to do 40% carbohydrates, 30% protein, and 30% fat. The number that you get, the carbohydrates, you're going to divide that number by 4 because the number you got was the caloric level. Each gram of carbohydrates has 4 calories. So that number you got, divide it by 4, that's going to give your amount of carbohydrates to eat in a day. Next, you're going to do the same thing with protein. You've got your number, that's the calories, divided by 4, because for every gram of protein, there are 4 calories. And then you've got your number, your gram of protein per day. Same thing with fat. You've got your fat number, those are the fat calories, divide it by 9. For every gram of fat, there are 9 calories. So now you've got your starting set of macros. Next, I want you to take each of those numbers and divide them by 4 or 5. These are the amount of meals that you're going to eat in a day. I personally like 5 meals: pre-workout, post-workout, lunch, mid-afternoon, dinner. So I quickly like to get people out of thinking meals and snacks. I like 4 or 5 even meals a day because as you go through a diet phase, like I talked about, we must mitigate hunger. I find with meals and snacks, there's still too much of this going on. So 4 or 5 even meals a day helps us stay. So 4 or 5 even meals a day, I find with the mental aspect of dieting, helps us stay more compliant. Because when you get hungry mid-afternoon, you know that you're not just reaching for an apple and some almonds as a snack. You've got a meal. So now we've got our macros daily divided up between 4 or 5 even meals. And next, get to planning your food. Please go watch the Macros 101 and the Meal Prep series because a make or break for a sustainable and lasting after the fat loss phase is done, but it's a make or break for having an efficient fat loss phase is meal prep. So go watch the Meal Prep series, and if you just want to be told what to eat, come on into Macropath. Okay, so now we've got our starting set of macros. We've got the plan, we've got the meal prep. How do we know when to change the macros? Because during a fat loss phase, there is no one perfect set of macros. You will stall. I'm going to tell you that. Hear me. You will stall at some point during this, but that's not an indication that you're failing. All that is that your body has a new set point and we need to make a slight adjustment to get the fat loss phase happening again. So I reiterate, stalling is not failing. It's just a flag that you need to make a change. Now, what change do you make? Generally, the change that needs to happen is so much less than you think. So the first thing that I like to do, increase cardio by 5 minutes, take my caloric deficit down by another 50 to 100 calories, just shave a little bit off. And or you can also increase your daily steps. There are 3 ways that we can increase the caloric deficit when in a fat loss phase: calories, increasing the cardio, increasing our daily steps. You can choose one of those, often even just changing one of those will work, or you can just do a little bit off of each of them. And I can't reiterate enough how little the change often needs to be. Big mistake that people make is that they stall, they panic, and then they slash and burn their calories, and then they can't sustain it, and boom, they ping themselves right out of their fat loss phase. Then they go off the rails, they have an effort moment, and then they got to start all over again. It's so frustrating for the person. I know, I've been there. So take one or all of those elements, calories, cardio, steps, and just slightly change one or all of them, and then pay attention to your data. The biggest common mistakes that I see: dropping calories too aggressively at the start or when people stall, adjusting their calories too often. Oftentimes people mess up and then they think, oh, it must be the calories. No, your compliance is the problem. The science of efficient weight loss is in compliance. Again, if we are eating as much as we can and staying compliant, you'll be able to eat more over time because compliance will rule out everything. It will overshadow everything at the end of the day. So if we're changing our calories too often, we never get the benefit of the compliance. Now, also doing too much cardio too fast, that's just going to increase your hunger. Again, we want to keep cardio to as little as possible while staying in an efficient fat loss phase. So stay patient. The scale won't drop in a straight line. It's going to go like this. Still strength train 3 to 5 days a week to preserve that muscle, because that's one of the most important things that you're going to want to have after your fat loss phase is done. So you're not going to go through your entire fat loss phase with precision. What we need is efficiency. We don't need to panic. We need to be strategic, and we need to have a plan for when we get hungry and have those cravings. Again, set a start date, set your plan, put your plan for hunger and cravings in place, meal prep, be efficient, don't panic when you stall, make a slight adjustment. And if you need any help, please message me, okay? I'm here to help you. I'm so committed to your success. So either write a note in the comments, send me an email, send me a DM. I love helping people with this, and I want to help you. Okay? Have a great fat loss phase, and then when you're ready to reverse diet, go and watch the reverse diet when you have after your very successful fat loss phase. Okay. See you soon.